In today's video, I want to show you how you can take your free motion quilting practice pieces and repurpose those into a piece of art. Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson-Hirst of Chatterbox Quilts. Now, if you're like me, you practice your free motion quilting. You do, right? And if you're like me, you have these samples all over the place. I have quilt sandwiches all over my studio. I never know what to do with them. Some I use again and go over and over and over them. They look like a tangled mess. Some are great for the cats to sit on or sleep on. But there are other ones that I thought, I could do something different with these. I could repurpose these. I could use these as placemats or mug rugs or even just a little art piece up on the wall. So I want to show you how to do that today. And there are a few things that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using some Derwent Inktense pencils. Okay, so that's what these look like. So they are not watercolor pencils. You can use them with water or aloe vera gel, but they actually have ink in them, okay? And so they are going to be permanent and they create really vibrant colors. So they come in different sets. You can look above or in the description below for links to different sets that you can get them in. This particular one is, I think, 24. I have to look back and see here. Yes, 24 of them, but you can get them in sets of 12 or 48 or whatever you may want to do. So I found this is a good size to give me a variety of colors that I can use in my different projects. It's a good starter set. Also, you're going to need either some type of removable marker, not water soluble. Okay, so heat erase will be great. I can use these Frixion pen color markers if I wanted. You may want to use a permanent marker, and I'll discuss that in just a moment. So if you do, you want to use something like this Sharpie really fine tip marker. Okay, so that's something, and I'll explain why you may or may not want to use that. I'm also using I've got some water. Okay, that's pretty simple. I think most people have that available to them, okay, because we're going to be adding that to the Inktense pencils. And I also have some aloe vera gel. And this is something I want to just show you the difference between the water and the aloe vera gel. And then I've got some just paint brushes from the dollar store. I also have like a water pen. So there's water in here, it's refillable, and then I can use it just to brush on. So one or the other. I'm going to be using these paint brushes with the aloe vera gel and then this with water, obviously. Okay, I've got some paper towels and I've got freezer paper down here. So you want to have something underneath your project so that, you don't get paint on your other surface. You want to protect your surface. All right, so let's take a look at what I've got here too, because you need to have your free motion quilting practice sample, right? So here is my sample here. This is, as you can see, all pebbles, stones, whatever you want to call them. That's what the other side looks like. But I'm going to be playing with this side because this is where you're going to be able to see my Inktense pencils, right? You're not going to be able to see them very well on the purple side. So what I want to do first is decide on a kind of a design I want to create with these Inktense pencils. Okay, I'm not just coloring across this. I could do that if I wanted to with different colors, and that'd look really pretty too. But I actually want to draw a design on, and this is where we come up with the either Frixion markers in my case, or a permanent marker, whatever marker you may be using. So if I wanted to draw with the Frixion pen, Frixion markers, actually what they are, I could draw a simple design. So the key to this is keeping it fairly simple design, okay? The quilting is going to add texture to it, all right? Now, I said you might want to use that permanent pen because when you draw this, you're going to color it in, and then when you heat set it, it's going to remove the marks, right? So you're only going to see the colors. You may want to have an outline around your design. If you do, you can do that with the permanent marker, or you could leave your marks on with your removable pen. Don't remove it yet. Don't heat set anything yet. And you could go along and you could free motion quilt around that design. Add more quilting. But I probably wouldn't do that because there's lots of quilting here already. So if you do want to see the designs afterwards, the outlines of what you've drawn, I should say, use the permanent marker, okay? But for me, I'm going to go with this Frixion marker. All right, so I'm just going to draw a simple flower, okay? And I'm going to go kind of around here. I'm thinking about something here. I'm thinking about how I want to use what's already quilted on here. So we're going to do a really simple flower here. All right. And then I'm going to use kind of this as the center. Okay, I've already got this stitched in. I'm going to use that as a center. Sure, it's off center, but that doesn't really matter to me. This is kind of a fun, whimsical design. And how about adding some leaves? So let's add a leaf here. Let's add another leaf kind of here. All right. Maybe another one kind of in behind here. All right, there's my design, okay? Work of art, right? Okay, not yet, but it'll look better once I add some color to it. So this gives me places to put my Inktense pencils, right? So I need, you know, if I didn't draw anything on there, I might have a hard time, you know, creating a design without something to help me along with it. So then the next step is to add some of those Inktense pencils. But before I do that, I just want to draw your attention to an icon you'll see below this video, and that is the heart with the $ in it. That's a super thanks. So that's your opportunity to support the Chatterbox Quilts YouTube channel and my small business. So you can donate money to that by clicking on that icon, and that helps me to buy the different items I use in my videos. So if you would care to do that, just click on it, choose your amount, and that will be sent to me. And thank you so much for your support. Now let's get back into the Inktense pencils, and I am going to start with the leaves. Okay, so you're going to start with, I'm starting with a dry piece of fabric. I could put water on it first if I wanted to. I don't want to do that. Okay. And stick around the end of the video because I want to talk to you a little bit more about using these Inktense pencils after we create this design. So I'm just going to color it in here so you can see, you know, it's green, right? And actually, you know what I should have done? I should have gone with, this is kind of behind, so I should have gone with a darker green. So let's just layer it up. You can do that. Okay. So, you know, this is kind of fun. This is just coloring, right? Something we don't always do as adults. Just to have some relaxing, fun time. Okay, let's put that in like that. Now let's put the lighter one up here, okay? And so you just go along and color it. So yes, you'll notice that it's a bit bumpy. That's okay. That's going to be what creates some of the interest in this project as well, is that quilting that's already on there, okay? I have another green. So what's nice about getting these bigger sets, you have lots of different colors. So here's another kind of greeny blue, kind of a teal color, I guess, eh? So we can just go along and color this in. So I'm just doing this quickly because I don't want to take up too much time in the demo. You can even leave some spaces. It doesn't have to be completely colored in. Okay, how about the center? We're going to use some kind of yellow, right, for that center. This is probably one area where I didn't necessarily have to define it because I'm just going around that quilting that was already done there. And what about the flower itself? Let's go with something bright like this. And you could put lots of different designs in here. I mean, I've chosen one big design. You don't have to do that. You could have lots of different little flowers in here, you know, if you're doing flower things, whatever you want to put in there. Okay. So let's just kind of go, I'm just going to go in here a little bit. I'm not going to color the whole flower. That's going to take too long. I don't want to take up more time, but there you can see what I've done over top there. Okay. With those Inktense pencils. Now, I have some choices here. I could put water on, and the water does a different thing than the aloe vera gel. The water is going to run these colors out beyond the boundaries here a bit, okay? Which, you know, that's okay. I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to do this, and I'm hardly even touching the surface here, like very, very, very lightly, and you can see what's happening here, okay? So I'm just going to get a little bit of, seems like weird, but dipping the water pen into water just to get that color off the tip. Okay, and this is actually not doing much bleeding, which is good. Usually it goes a lot further than this, probably because I'm not putting an awful lot of water on there as much as I usually would, okay? And we'll do this guy too. But you can see how that water brings out the vibrancy of the ink. And you can also now see, which you might not have been able to see very much before, that there's actually a pattern on this fabric. There's these little leaf, you know, kind of feathery leaf things that are happening. And you can see that when we put the water on, so that's kind of cool. So let's go and use some of the aloe vera gel and see how that works. I'm going to bring that over. I just have a small amount in here. And if I don't need much on here, so take a little bit off. I'm going to put that in the center. So this will also bring the color out. What this will do, and you really didn't see this happening very much here, a little bit of bleeding coming on there, but this will not bleed. Okay, this keeps it from bleeding, which is the nice thing about the aloe vera gel. Just wipe that off a bit. Let's put a little more on. I just want to make sure that color's off because I want to come over here now and do that here as well. Let's put some more all over the place here. Okay, so like what a difference in the color, right? So a couple of things that are happening here, right? It's making it more vibrant. It's pulling out the fabric that you can see the pattern of the fabric more, which you really couldn't see as much here. And you get that texture from the, and I'm going to put some water in there. Clean that brush off a bit. You get the texture from the quilted background, okay? So when this was all done and dry, now I could dry it, kind of, if you will, but I would just let it dry naturally. It doesn't take very long. I didn't put a lot of water on there. But once it's dry, I'm going to heat set that. So I would take a paper towel, put over, and heat set it. And when I do that for this particular design, it's going to take off all those black marks, right? So let me do that. I'll come back and show you what that looks like. So I've heat set the Inktense pencils, and that has removed the Frixion pen from it. So you can see, as I mentioned, you won't see the outlines anymore. So if you use the permanent marker, you would still see those outlines, or if you wanted to, you know, stitch around, you can even stitch around now, really, if you wanted to, but I think it'd look better just with using the pen or with nothing on it at all except for the Inktense pencils. So you can see here how it's, you know, come out a bit more with the water. That hasn't happened really in here. This is actually where I went up to. I decided to color the whole flower so you could actually see what it would look like. So if you've got some practice pieces where you've been practicing your free motion quilting and you want to do something a little fun with them, create a little project. I could just cut this down now if I wanted to. I could do a pillowcase method, put some little hangers on it, and it would be really cute up on the wall, or even as maybe a little, you know, I could add something else to it and make it a little table runner, mug rug, whatever I wanted to do with it. But it's just fun, just having fun and repurposing a practice piece that you have been using for free motion quilting. So I've shown you how to use the Derwent Inktense pencils on this particular project, but there's more ways you can use them. So if you want to know how else you can use these particular Inktense pencils, be sure to check out this video where I give you that information. For more helpful quilting information, please go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.